ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Speak On It podcast. I am your host, Big Mike. I am here with another episode, our weekly recap. And you know I am not here alone. I've got the fellas with me, the mad producer, podcast Poppy in the building.
We're out here. Shout out to Zach Wilson.
I've got my man Enoch in the building.
What's going on, guys?
And it is a special night, fellas. Special night. We are introducing, finally, after weeks of anticipation, our newest member to the Speak On It family, all the way from Baltimore, my man, Professor Thomas. Josh, what's going on, sir?
Thank you, fellas. Thank you for having me. What's going on? Finally,
Dylan, insert the round of applause.
Finally moved into the new office, ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. We will shout out to Roz. We will reset how long till Roz is on ticker. We will reset it. We will reset week 1 tonight. Breezy will be on the show tonight. As you know, him and football don't get along, so he's gonna be in. He'll be in a little bit later on in the episode, but we're gonna jump. We were actually going to start football like we do every week, but at the time of this recording, sports is always moving. History was made tonight, fellas. Aaron Judge finally ran into a team that had the gumption, the courage to throw him a fastball, even though it was a slider that he hit. But Aaron Judge finally hit number 62, setting the American League record, as Michael K has to mention every time he comes to the plate. But finally, number 62 has been hit. They took him out, so we didn't get a chance to see 63. Maybe he'll hit another one. I doubt he'll play in the season finale, but we'll see.
Absolutely
not. But yeah, 62 history has been made. I'm gonna throw it to Josh. You see where the standing is. How you feeling about it, man?
62, man. That's amazing. 2022 to hit 62 is, to me, kind of like Bonds hitting 73 back in the day. It's tough. It's tough to hit right now, I feel. I feel like it's tougher than ever to hit home runs, especially doing them without the juice. I think speculatively, we don't know what's going on today because that's a big guy. Let's be honest. But,
big man.
Well, all I can say is that I don't know. It's surreal to see that we got numbers back up there again. I haven't seen the 40s and 50s in I feel like 5 or 6 years plus. So now to see 60 and to do it in a year where he's hit, doesn't he have like 100 and nearly 130 RBIs or something like that?
Yep.
Like, this is bananas year from him. Like, this is one of those like pinch yourself kind of years, especially as a Yankees fan. With us heading into the playoffs, winning the division, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see him get the monkey off his back. Now he can, just kind of like he did tonight. They pulled him. They just chill, man. You deserve to sit on ice now because now it's time to be a real Yankee, and being a real Yankee is about playoff time. That's what I count. So as cool as this is, I'm glad it's out the way. Now let's focus on winning the next 11 games. That's what counts.
Yeah, he gets to rest. Shut the fuck up. He gets to rest now and go back to just like not trying to hit a home run.
In more relevant news, Albert Pujols hit home run number 703.
Relevant.
He has surpassed Babe Ruth for second most.
So we don't give a single shit about that right now because Aaron Judge literally just
this is his moment, man. Don't take away that. We didn't take away. You're not going to take away.
He broke Roger Maris's record. that is held for a very long time, while also being a triple crown, like triple crown,
that's the thing.
hitting for average 1.
That's the thing.
Hitting
He's
for
like
power
310,
2.
130.
He's like hitting like 312 right now. 62 home runs, 100 plus RBIs. His
120
OPS
plus RBIs.
120 plus RBIs. His OPS was ridiculous. His advanced stats are unbelievable as well. Like, I love Albert Pujols. If Albert Pujols didn't have the run he had in Los Angeles when he first got there, where he was hurt all the time and all that stuff, you'd probably be looking at the greatest baseball player ever. To be fair,
Pujols?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
You could be looking at that. There's a world where Albert Pujols is the best baseball player ever.
No.
There's a world.
No. There's two sides of the game. And Pujols don't go. I'm not seeing the glove from Pujols.
That's
a Gold Glove. He's a Gold Glove first baseman.
But I mean, so I'm
a Gold Glove first baseman. Come on,
it's not hard. Not hard. But
that's not. I'm not.
And he did it without the juice.
Speculatively.
And he was winning MVPs when Barry Bonds was smacking 50 home runs a year.
That's true.
That's also a very good thing in his favor. But but again, it's a world. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but there's a possibility you could be seeing him as the greatest or one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
He's definitely one of the greatest.
He's already that.
He's already.
But it would have been like a for sure, like foregone conclusion. Like if he doesn't have that stint in LA when he first gets there, where he's just kind of sucks and is hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
he would have hit 700 sooner.
Like I don't know. It's like his play wasn't raining in chips to St. Louis like that. Like
I mean, he's got two.
He's got two in St. Louis.
He's got,
and we all know how hard it is to win one. And he has two. And then he went to an organization that squanders generational talent.
Black hole of talent.
And that's exactly what happened.
I'll give him his respect. There's no doubt he's an all-time great, but I just couldn't see it for the defensive. There's a lot of defensively better players that did the game. They played better on both sides of the ball than him. Pujols is a great power hitter. He's a great power hitter.
You're going defense. I'm going to give you this, though. Would you rather Pujols or Prime Miggy?
Pujols. I'm going Prime Miggy all day long.
I don't know, man.
I'm going Prime Miggy.
Prime Miggy was tough, Dylan.
He is. I love Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera.
Pujols is a great hitter, but like he's a home run hitter, and like I'm not saying he can't hit for average or around the field. He did that too, but Miggy literally is like a problem. Like Miggy was like the right-handed Bonds for a while.
But the only time Miggy won was when he was an afterthought on a Miami Marlins team.
That is true. That is true.
That's when Miggy was weighing 180 pounds playing outfield. Before they brought him inside because he had an eating problem. Albert started putting on weight when he hit like 35.
That was before, because I forgot, because then Miggy went to Detroit, right?
Yeah. I mean, he had success in Detroit.
He was an individual.
He was sick with a belly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was savage with a belly too, bro. Like, he's not.
He was pretty good.
He was also a defensive liability.
Yeah, defensively, and like arguing defensively, but I'm thinking like
as a hitter, Miguel has a triple crown, correct?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
like I'm just going off the fact that like
Pujols.
Miguel from one side of the plate is better career wise than Pujols is from both sides. That's real.
That's fine.
I'll give Pujols
I love Miguel
home
Cabrera,
runs,
but
Miguel can just
Pujols.
flat out hit, bro. Like he can be a full-time DH. Like if he decided to do that, he would have been better than Big Papi. He would have been better than Edgar Martinez.
Let's not talk about overrated Big Papi here.
What? Yankees fan, all you want to do. But
let's chastise A-Rod for being a steroid user,
Big
but
Papi
completely
was the
sweep
only one.
under the rug. David Ortiz being on that list too.
Yeah.
Big Papi was one of the few that happened to break through the impenetrable Mariano Rivera.
Yes,
that's all I can say. And
he did, but he also did it when he was juicing.
Not, who cares, man? The Royce was so weak for baseball. As a Yankees fans, we know. Come on, man. The Rocket, the Clemens. Are you
All
kidding
I'm
me?
saying
Come
is
on,
I have a hatred for Ortiz, not because of what he did to us, because they chastise A-Rod for using steroids, but ignore that Ortiz was also on that list.
They ignore me,
No.
but they chastise A-Rod because A-Rod's an
He was an
asshole.
asshole,
that's
yes.
what
But the fact that Ortiz got in to the Hall,
Is a
even
joke.
though he's on that list, but A-Rod
Is
will
a
never
joke.
get in. But
Because
Barry's not in.
That's because that's how they want to run it. They're gonna give all of them their cookies after they either pass away or it becomes like it's like they want to make them suffer before
Poppy
they.
was a media darling. That's
Nah,
why he got
Barry's
in.
just not getting in regardless.
Barry
Like,
will never get in.
He will never
but
get in.
Ortiz is in.
Barry will get in after death. They're gonna do him. They're gonna give him his due, but they're not.
Roger
gonna
Clemens doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because he's a dickhead.
The minute Pete Rose passes away, unfortunately.
Yeah, Pete Rose is getting in after
Pete
he
Rose
dies.
is going to get in as soon as he passes away,
They're gonna do it after he dies,
which is ridiculous because
It's
they don't
crazy.
want that image of him giving a speech. That's what
that's
they're afraid of. They're afraid of the
I need
image of him
nothing
giving a
more in my
speech.
life than Pete Rose giving a Hall of Fame speech. I need nothing more.
Record one to have him play it anyway. That's what I would do if I was Pete Rose.
Yeah,
Because the reason they got him all pushed out anyway is stupid. Like let him spin, bro. Let him in the game. He bet on himself.
He records one just in case he gets in the Hall, gives it to a family member to send out to ESPN in his will. So then when they do the speeches, instead of putting it on their live feed of the Hall of Fame, ESPN gets all the coverage for it. What a world. What a world.
What a dastardly deed that I am here for. What a dastardly
the balls
deed
on Pete Rose to just assume they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame anyway.
That off rip.
That world alone.
I would be so happy with that. Finally, you've answered my cry. That's what I would start my
and then he does it while he's still of sane mind and not like a crazy old man.
That's what I mean, man. Have it set.
I don't know, man. Crazy old man Pete Rose might be hilarious too, though.
If somebody has power of attorney over Pete Rose, they need to make sure that happens. They need to make sure that happens.
Give a shout out to Kane in his speech.
It's Mayor Glenn Jacobs.
Yes. We don't recognize Glenn Jacobs over here. That guy's crazy. That guy's crazy. Right. Oh man.
And shout out to the Mariners and the
Mariners.
Shout out to the Mariners.
The Mariners.
Yeah. Can I also shout out the Phillies?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Phillies for breaking their playoff drought, and Joe Girardi's on MLB Network looking stupid being an analyst because he got fired.
Which I want to give you a side note. There were no two bigger Yankee fans that hated Girardi more than me and Josh. Just
no doubt. Mike knows by that hole I left the wall in my dorm.
Oh my God. We would just sit and talk for hours about how much we hate Girardi. Just
I put my foot through a wall for Girardi. And that was in a win. That was the night we won a game. Like I lost it over that dude plenty of times. He was that book, that damn binder, man.
That binder. Oh my God.
He'd be in his head would be in the binder. Like you'd see it up like this, and like he's missing the game. He'd be sitting there missing the game, bro. Like,
what does the binder say to do in this position?
Yeah, okay. I'm like,
tell him to swing.
And then the epitome of that happened. And what was it, Mike? Was it 2019 against Cleveland, where he blew it?
Cleveland.
Well, he didn't challenge, right? It was like he didn't challenge.
He didn't challenge the play, and it just. Which was clear as day, and then
it was clear. Like
he didn't take Jabba Chamberlain out in the not the Nat game. One of them series. There was just too many. His bullpen management was the worst I've ever seen in my life.
Like we won that series in 2009. In spite
of him,
straight up, like without. If it wasn't CC going on 3 days rest.
And A-Rod getting the work
finally
from,
being A-Rod.
A-Rod finally played. A-Rod became a Yankee
Listen,
that year.
Who was it? Kate Haslett?
A-Rod
Is that who it was?
He earned his fucking
That's-
pinstripes.
That's who we need to thank. That's
He
who
earned
we
his
need to thank.
But Hideki Matsui, bro,
Matsui was on fire.
Matsui, like he was the MVP of the World Series.
Yeah.
Forget Matsui.
That 2009 season is the reason I was so mad Joey Gallo wore 13.
Yeah,
I was so mad that Gallo wore 13. I was like, they let him wear 13?
Yeah, I mean, A-Rod didn't deserve to.
He's not going to get his number retired or anything like that, but like
he didn't get to.
We should
play good enough for a long enough time.
Yeah, let's air that out. Let 13
Gallo.
sit aside for a while, and not fucking Joey Gallo.
Yeah, Gallo,
fucking bum.
I like him in the show. That's about it.
I like him in the show too, but he
real.
I was so hyped for him this year. I was like, oh, he's gonna show everybody. His swing is tailor made for Yankee Stadium.
But he was a bum.
Yeah, he's
a crumb bum loser.
He's Homer or nothing at all. He gives me them Chris Davis.
And he was nothing at all.
My greatest fear is running into the Dodgers in the World Series and him torturing us. That is
until he steps foot in New York again and he turns into a fucking mental midget.
You got that's the thing. It's like, can you play in New York? Can you play? I was just talking to you guys about being in that atmosphere in the playoffs. Can you come to New York into the Bronx in October and win a baseball game?
Some guys can, some guys can't. And Gallo's not one of those guys who can.
Different vibe every time.
Mental midget.
Yeah, there's some guys that can't hack it. Even the great Pedro Martinez couldn't do it. It's a tough environment, man.
Pedro was old though. I think young Pedro would have relished. He would have.
Young Pedro would have loved it.
Yeah, he's just too nasty.
He would. But I mean, that was young Pedro. Are you talking about Pedro at the Phillies? Or are you talking about Pedro on the Sox? Because Pedro on the Sox got rocked.
No, but Pedro on the Sox owned us for a long time before we
in the
finally
regular
got him.
season. In the regular
season, he got us a couple times in the playoffs. Well, no, not really. Yeah,
no, he didn't. No, the big games was us every time. Every time they shriveled. Every time, like regular season, he was the best pitcher in the league that year. That year that we beat him in 03, Pedro was the best guy in the AL. It was nobody better than Pedro Martinez. That's why he let him stay out, and he got rocked.
That was a mistake, though. He was gassed.
Yeah, he was done.
Anybody with eyes could see that he was gassed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send him out there again.
I'm keeping him out there. I'm thinking about that too. You really gonna take the ball? Who are they giving it to? Think about that.
I mean, that's true, but I mean,
that's the guy
that got signs were there. The signs were there. Like, he gave up the hit, then he gave up another hit. Like, all right.
It was Derek Jeter too. Derek Jeter started that rally. I'll never forget that one.
Hit
that double. And the cap was like, all right, now get me home.
I hope that Derek Jeter is somehow involved with the Yankee organization when Aaron Judge signs this next contract and they say, oh, by the way, you're also the captain of the New York Yankees.
He has to be the captain now. He's the heir apparent.
There's zero way that he's not.
Yeah, he's the captain. You got to give him the C now.
You have to give it to him.
I mean, Jeter never even had the official C, right? Like
they didn't have the official C, but he had the press conference.
Okay. Oh, where
he had the press conference where they're like, "Hey," because Jeter thought he was going to get traded or some shit because it was right after arbitration or some shit happened, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to bring you in for a press conference now that you signed your arbitration thing." And he was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, we're announcing Derek Jeter as the next captain of the New York Yankees."
Like, oh, cool. Y'all could have told me that on the phone.
Yeah,
I know. I could do that on the phone.
He's like, "Oh shit." First captain was Mattingly, and then you get that.
Y'all playing too much.
Well, let's move it on, guys. It was a very good week in the podcast for almost all of us. We almost had a clean sweep.
We almost did.
Almost.
Anthony called for the sweep. I was like, no, there's somebody in here who didn't have a good week. And it was Josh's Baltimore
Josh
Ravens.
is new to the show. Josh is a Baltimore Ravens fan.
And Philly.
Yeah,
and Philly.
I mean,
don't forget my birds. But
you're a two-team rocker too?
Yeah.
I've always been, and the only reason why I feel like it's
boo.
boo me all you want. As a Ravens fan,
Boo!
we didn't have a team. We had it. I was rooting for another team before the Ravens even existed as a team, like in my lifetime. So I feel like that's only respectable. Like I like the Philly. The Phillies, the Eagles. My family, half my family's from Philly. Like it's fine. It's cool.
Josh, you're a Ravens fan.
I will say more. I lean to more the Ravens.
No. You're a Ravens fan.
I lean towards more towards the Ravens.
They're closed-minded minds, Josh. Just can't
It's
understand.
cool. I know.
No,
concept
Mike, no.
Of possibly liking
We
more
can't
than
have
one
the other
team.
guy who roots
Oh
for two
my
teams
God.
instead of the other
Oh
two
my
teams.
God! I like more than one team.
No, because I've
It's
never been a
not
fan.
we root for one team and
Help
hate
me. I'll tell
every
you.
other team in the league.
No, it doesn't work like that. It's like someone coming up to me telling me, "Oh, I'm a Texas fan and a Bills fan." I'm like, no, you're a Texas.
You pick
fan,
one.
all right?
Who do you claim?
Stick by your Houston Texans, all right?
I don't know how many times I got to say I am a Titans fan.
You are a Giants
I like
fan.
the Giants.
You are a
I am a
Giants fan.
Titans fan, and I like the Giants.
I saw the pictures of you
do
at the
not-
parade. You are a Giants fan.
With those photos.
The best part about having Josh's
Got
group
the
chat is
evidence.
that we can hold Mike accountable for shit that he's done, like steal Josh's hoodie.
Did not
Finally
steal
laid out
the
the
hoodie.
rest. Like, finally
Did
laid
not
out with the
steal.
rest. I looked at that photo. It popped up on that day. It popped up on your actual birthday, and I was sitting there. I was like, "Yo, hold up, that's my hoodie, man. There it is." So I totally asked him. And Mike would, Mike's face. Like I'm like, "Yo, Mike, remember that Yankees hoodie I let you hold back in freshman year?" Here goes Mike's face. That's serious. He's just. I'm like, shut down, like he couldn't even answer, and then he just. I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. Every single time.
I still don't know where that hoodie. But it's
So
okay.
all of us had a good week except for Josh.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens, man. Can I get right into it with them, or like
Go
can I
ahead.
get my gripes on with them?
Go ahead.
Take it.
Man,
Just let you guys know. Here comes the I hate Harbaugh speech. Here it comes.
Rather hear this than the Jets.
Our weekly.
Don't
I
worry,
hate
Anthony. We'll get
Harbaugh
the Jets
speech.
talk.
Because this is my thing. I'm actually not against John Harbaugh. I think he's fine. I think the problem has always been with the Ravens' philosophy. It's been like our philosophy has been the thing that we've like lived and died on forever. Like we were a defensive unit for all this time when we first came out in the late 90s, like ran that through 2 Super Bowls, one in 2000 and 2020, like 2012. So it's like we have winning in us, but like they think that's enough to be like, we're going to just stick with this one way of playing and then not make adjustments at half times. And oh man, it's just very frustrating. Like to watch us lose, like this was like, to me, this was actually like the 3rd game straight that we blew a lead. Like we got lucky with that Patriots like strip late in the game, like, and then we blow this lead again with the Bills. Like we had this game is like at halftime we make no adjustments, don't score nothing but another single field goal for an entire half, and we put up 20 points in the first half. Like we don't know how to close games. We don't know how to make adjustments. We don't know how to wiggle out of things. Like we're just single-minded, and like it shows from at every side of the football. And like we deserve to lose. Like I'm happy we're losing these games because at least we can maybe learn something from it at a point. But like I don't know. It's just the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. Like these games, we should be 4-0. There's no reason the Ravens shouldn't be running away.
We should be 4-0 too.
Like the division.
Anthony, y'all could be 0-4. Shut up.
We have the Steelers are garbage. They're trying to rebuild right now. The Bengals don't have an offensive line that can keep their boys safe over there. And the Browns are just the Browns. Like they're hot and cold, and like I don't expect them to be around at the end of the year. But this is a perfect time for us to take that division like by storm. And this is what we do with it.
This is the perfect time for you guys.
I don't know.
It's good that your division is also like losing at the same time as you.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that we like. I mean, the Steelers getting knocked like that helped, but it just doesn't. There's no hope for me in terms of the gameplay getting better. Like we have too many weapons for them to be used in this way. It's like somebody handing like a soldier like a sniper rifle that can shoot for like 4 miles out, but like all the targets he has to kill are like within 25 feet. Like it's unnecessary, and like we're not like it's so dumb. Like we run out of the same set almost every play. Like you can sit and watch the Ravens. Like
I've been calling this for years.
And you would think, man, you would think that they would take this opportunity to be deceptive in any kind of way, like to move the ball in and out of the pocket, to use feints and fakes and handoffs all the time, like running sweeps. We have Bateman on the team. Why? Like I watched the 49ers last night. Why are we not playing Bateman in the same way, getting the ball to his hands quick and letting him use his feet after the catch? Like, what is going on? Like, you've got the best running quarterback in the history of football on our team, and you run him on 3rd and short from the backfield. That's what you decide to do in those plays. It's so obvious when we call it too. And then when we get short, guess what we do? We run it again on 4th. Like it's it's the worst play calling. Like it's not our people. It's not the guys around us. It's not our staff. It's genuinely the mindset, and we don't make adjustments. And like, it's just the most frustrating thing to see it like happen week after week. And then our defense they just turn it off. Like I feel like this is the first time in forever that our defense has been given this many points from our offense. Like the Ravens have historically had terribly stagnant offense, as the Jets will understand now, Jets fans, with Flacco. There you go. He doesn't move the ball. He doesn't move. He doesn't do anything. Doesn't call audibles. The Ravens are stale like that, and they're used to that. And then the second half of a football game, they go back to that because it's safe. They get a lead and they just play safe. And then like we get into these situations now where everybody knows that Lamar has to pass, and they're expecting a guy who, yes, he can pass. He does pass well, but they expect him to just go win a football game when you're running routes that don't even time out correctly. Like dude.
Greg Roman is an idiot.
He's the worst.
Like you guys fired the wrong coordinator last year.
The wrong coordinator by far.
Why you fire Wink Martindale because your whole defense tore their ACL last year is beyond me. And then you keep the guy who's been running the same offense for 4 years for Lamar Jackson.
My thing is, what the hell happened at the end of the game? Like, what was that?
So I get where Harbaugh came from.
Didn't make a read.
I get where Harbaugh came from for like doing the thing where it's like, yeah, I'm scared of Josh Allen, but like we need to put a touchdown on the board there. But that's a tough decision to make when like Lamar's not like great at playing quarterback. So like he's an unbelievable talent, but like this is where I say that thing where it's like Lamar's not a great quarterback when it comes to progressing through reads. It's a tough thing to watch and do, but I always get killed for it when Lamar's like, putting up 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and doesn't do this when he's beating up on bad teams who can't cover deep routes. Like, I get chastised for it. And I thought Lamar was getting better at it. It's just tough to do that when you're playing against a team like the Bills, right? Yeah. And that's a fantastic team.
But he did that against the Dolphins, too, though.
The Dolphins are also a good team. The thing is...
Straight up.
The defense, the Ravens defense is good. So like, I don't understand how they just take the foot off the gas. Like you have the arguably the number 1 rated corner in football on Marlon Humphrey from PFF, who's like locking dudes up and being just like, don't even target him. Mm-hmm. And you have this
they got scheme. Homeboy from the Saints too. They got a lot of studs.
They have Marcus Williams. They have Kyle Phillips. They got Marcus Peters, who I think is washed, is a hothead. But like you have all this talent on your team and you're letting these teams come back, and then you go back to offense. It's like, all right, well, we're just going to run 3 times in a row and hopefully we chew enough clock to keep it going.
at
Like-
home. Like,
Thank you.
When you're supposed to be putting your foot on their throats, like you run so much, set up a good play. Like the Ravens receivers for the last 3 years have been the worst at creating separation on their routes.
Because they're first of all, they're not those kind of receivers.
Exactly.
They're not. They're
Exactly.
not. They're too small. You can't ask Hollywood Brown and Bateman and Duvernay to be these big, like
Bateman's big, but he's not a big body receiver. He's a move, get you in space, get a move, go down.
He reminds me of Percy Harvin, personally. Like
he's a bigger Percy Harvin.
Yeah, and you could, but the thing about it is like use his feet. They use like Seattle used Percy Harvin like crazy. Like he was all.
They put him everywhere. Everywhere. Use
the speed. That's the
this
same
is
way
where I go through where I say the Ravens
like,
failed Lamar from without putting good weapons around him. The way that Philly is built,
1,000%.
the way Philly is helping Jalen Hurts is the exact opposite of how the Ravens are helping Lamar Jackson.
yeah, but to Josh's point, I mean, the Ravens could and should be 4-0. It's not because of the offense, though. It's because the defense is.
It's both.
No, but the defense doesn't collapse the way they did. They win that game against Miami. They
but
win
if your
the
offense
game.
is able to get first downs. And
That's the
keep
thing.
The clock
It's-
moving.
Well, okay, take away the Buffalo game. Let's take away the Buffalo game. You can't tell me they shouldn't be at least 3-1 right now.
No, I'm not saying they're not, right? I don't think there's a world where the Ravens aren't 4-0 because it's very much so a possibility. But then you get the thing where it's like, oh, you're blowing double-digit leads. If you get first downs and you could shoot clock and you could put yourself in – if you get enough first downs, you put yourself in field goal range and you have Justin Tucker.
See, this as a Ravens fan and watching this for over almost 20 years now, like the thing about the Ravens has always been they never, ever, ever chew clock and they never keep their defense off the field. That's what made the Ravens defense so ridiculous in general, is that like they would go in these stints where they were on the field all game.
And then they would just bully you, get first downs, and keep it moving.
Like, but now, like the Ravens, like that run style is fine if you can keep the ball moving and you run the ball and deceptively. But if you just set up and run HB dive or HB slam up the middle, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I can watch.
I don't think that's crazy.
Like it might not be crazy if it's working. If you're getting 5 to 7 big chunks of yardage when you're doing it, I don't have no problem.
If you're getting 2 every attempt, like,
3 yards on these plays, or even losing some, and then you third down, you give it to your quarterback to try the same thing,
or like, throw deep. It's either you're handing the ball off or you're throwing 30 yards down the field.
When you play against the Ravens defense, the process of elimination is so easy. Like you can figure out what our scheme pretty easily.
Your scheme is it's zero coverage and it's press blitz.
It's terrible, man. And like all
but it works.
That's what I'm saying. Like people know what the Ravens
West Coast
works.
Very little team
it works until it doesn't. Like with the Jets Ravens in week 1. If we didn't have Joe Flacco playing quarterback, we could have been in that game because Zach Wilson would have ran outside of the pocket.
It took our offense over.
You guys hate Flacco so much.
I hate Flacco.
I mean, he's the worst quarterback. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Anthony, if you watched
a
quarter of the Jets game this Sunday, you'd be like, man, if Flacco was in that pocket, he's getting killed. Zach was running out of the pocket and just moving.
No, that's true. It's hard to believe that this is the same Flacco that went on that legendary Super Bowl.
Not the same Flacco, though. This is 10 years removed.
That's a long. I mean, that's a long time removed.
But the thing is, though, Flacco's 30. Flacco's 37. When you look at all the really good quarterbacks, they were still playing pretty good at 30.
Flacco at 27 wasn't moving.
Yeah, 27.
But he still was making good plays. He still was making good throws.
So take a look at Flacco against Cleveland, right? That whole game, he was in there. They weren't getting a ton of pressure on him, and he was able to sit in the pocket and make throws. Once they got to him, that was like, fuck, he started second-guessing everything that happened. Whereas Zach was like, okay, shit, I'm getting pressure. I'm out. See ya.
All good quarterbacking to me is great decision making under pressure.
Yes.
Like it's not even about your best athletic abilities or the best arm. It's about doing the right thing at the right time all the time. That's it. Like, and that's why Brady's the GOAT, is because he makes those decisions the best. Period.
Yeah, he's one of the GOATs because he does, like, his decision making is just
He's
unfair.
the GOAT. Remember, there's one GOAT, and it's Brady.
Fuck him.
I hate
Moving on.
I hate the Patriots. I'm not a Brady fan, but the numbers don't lie. That boy is mean when the time comes to it. When the time comes down to it, he gets it done.
I'll tell you what, though. We could shift gears to a coming of age story that happened on Sunday with a young man named Zachary Wilson.
Go Patriots.
They lost. They're in last place.
Hey.
Look at him rooting for a last place team. What a loser!
Hey, I'm not rooting for anything. You see my name on the tag anyway.
So I got to see solid quarterback play on Sunday for the first time in a long time. And it was wonderful to see because I also got Roz to shut the fuck up, which is crazy. Which was a crazy thing because I don't know if you guys weren't in the chat because the audience isn't. Me and Roz during Jet games go at each other's throats because our philosophies are just so different on how we think of the Jets.
You would have thought that you guys didn't have the same favorite team. It's night and day. But you sound like how
y'all beefing over the same team.
Doesn't Ross think Soleil's a bum?
Yeah, Ross hates everything about this team until they win.
They sound like how Roz and Mike sound like over the it's crazy.
Anything with Roz, the sky's falling. There's an incompletion on the first down, the sky is falling. And I'm just sitting here. We're gonna when we get merch, we're making it's let the cookie bake. Let the cookie bake. And that's all I was saying to Ross on Sunday was the game's not over. Is clock at 0? All right, so let the cookie bake. He's like, this is a rotten cookie. Da, 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 da. This person did this. I'm like, let the cookie bake.
Yeah,
this game is not over yet.
Throw the baby out with the bathwater type of guy.
You throw the whole kid away, throw everything out. Like, Salah's a bum. These guys are uninspired. It's the complete opposite. This team wants to play for him.
Not the baby.
The team wants to play for Salah. And Roz had to eat every bit of his words on Sunday because the Jets defense played really good despite like our biggest fear happening, which was Mitch Trubisky getting benched. Because going to that game, I was like, yo, the Jets could win this game by like 2 scores if Mitch stays in. And then they took him out. And then the tale of Kenny Pickett started to build. But Kenny Pickett's first pass was interception. And that was awesome.
Which was not his fault.
Which wasn't his fault. Bum ass Chase Claypool, who's just, I don't know where the fuck he's been. Ball. Where has he been this year?
Nowhere.
Dude done nothing.
Locked up.
Like literally just getting locked up.
So before we continue, PFF. So what's his face? Kenny Pickett threw 3 interceptions on Sunday. They credited him with 0, like turnoverable plays, which is crazy because that second interception he threw to Michael Carter was absolutely his fault.
Yeah, the second one was absolutely his fault.
Sauce locked up Freiermuth, and then Michael Carter came in for the dive to pick that off. Like, that's a bad throw. The Hail Mary, whatever. Like, it is what it is. Still
the first and third ones I take away from.
The first one sucks. Like, you may not say it's his fault, but that sucks because he threw it into double coverage.
But it was still a good throw, though.
Was it? It got intercepted.
Claypool's got to catch
Claypool's got to bring that in.
But the thing
Claypool's got to catch that ball.
But he was put in a situation where he couldn't catch the ball. I'm not saying that's Kenny Pickett's fault, but like that's a risky throw. That's why you still have to credit him for that. The fact that they didn't credit him for any interceptions is crazy to me. but Zach gets credited for 2 when Tyler Conklin literally had palms on the ball and couldn't bring it down, and it gets intercepted. Because if you're going to pick and choose when you credit interceptions to somebody, you got to be fair here, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
But despite that, I got to see Zach Wilson go from playing like shaky football, throwing 2 interceptions, to then having this fourth quarter where it was just like, yo, he can play a little bit. He went 10 for 12 with a perfect QBR. But like, he had the offensive line is a patchwork offensive line where our starting right guard is now playing left tackle. And that's scary, right? But he gave up one pressure.
Being out of position.
He gave up one pressure that whole game. And then in the fourth quarter, that whole line just came together and blocked. And Zach got to go through. I got to watch Zach Wilson go through reads, which is crazy. I got to see him read his offense and make the right throw.
Is that him being showing that he can play a little bit, or is that the Steelers showing how bad they are?
Well, so outside of TJ Watt, that Steelers defense is good. Say what you want about everything. That Steelers defense is good.
All right.
Their offense stinks.
Yeah,
their offense is
No,
terrible.
but George Pickens is nice though.
Pickens, but the thing is, they have talent at the positions, right? Their coordinator stinks. Matt Canada's terrible, and their offensive line sucks.
That's the problem. Their offensive line sucks.
The fact that
honestly, the best player on their
held
offense
up
is the running back.
Yeah,
Right.
the fact that our offensive line held up better than theirs shows how much trouble their offensive line actually is in.
Yeah.
But like, I got to see Zach Wilson's potential at quarterback, and that was really cool. And it got to shut fucking Roz up, because man, which was great because that extends Zach Wilson's leash another week, I guess, with Roz. Because remember, Roz gave Zach Wilson 2 weeks.
No, I thought he gave him 4.
No, he gave him 2. He gave him 2 weeks.
I could have sworn it was 4 to start the season.
He says Zach Wilson has till week 6 to figure it out. I'm like, so you give him 2 weeks.
Yeah, because he totally discounted him not playing in the beginning. So what? Figure it out.
Completely got him out there. Then he looked like a baller, and then he literally had to eat crow. He's like, I will not say anything else about this team because every part of the defense that he hated played well. Everybody, like the safeties have been terrible. That was not the same group of safeties that played the first 3 weeks that were getting killed by the Ravens and the Bengals. Like, they played defense. They got 4 interceptions. Like, that's crazy. And now the Jets are 2-2.
And let's not forget that his boy over with the Giants also won, which also adds to his Salah hate.
Which is so crazy because he's like, yo, Dable is so much better of a coach than Robert Saleh. I'm like, Dable hasn't played any good temes. He hasn't played any good teams. Say what you want about the Titans,
Giants are
Mike.
exactly what they should be.
Say what you want about the Titans, right? That Titans defense gave up 400 yards to the Giants.
And a lot of it was right now. Our problem is we're giving up a lot of yards in the fourth quarter, in the second half. That's what the problem is. Because
it's like, wait till the Giants. But the thing is, the Giants don't play anybody on their schedule. Like the Giants, literally, they play besides the Eagles and the Cowboys. Their schedule's easy.
Oh, they're playing the Packers this week.
I would say it's turning up.
Anthony, out of a 17 game schedule, they play like 4 teams total that are like playoff teams.
So the Eagles.
This is like the
Eagles
had the same schedule last year too.
So Dylan, are you saying the Giants are going to make the playoffs?
No, absolutely not.
No, hell no.
Absolutely not.
Hell no.
It's too early to call. I think it's too early to call anything in football.
The Giants will come back to form because right now it's not sustainable. I don't see it being sustainable. What's happening now?
It's smoke and mirrors. It's
absolutely smoke and mirrors. But like,
what's the Giants record right now?
They're
3-1.
3-1.
I got some Giants fans in my chat, and they're like, they were going sick until they lost to the Cowboys, and they were uberly sad.
Yeah, but like you should like
because that Cowboys game was
but
that was a game where if you reach and grab it and win that game,
that could be a very important game. Yeah.
Now it's real. Like now it's oh shit, we could have something here. 3-1's nice, but they had a chance. They had a chance.
Really
I mean,
did.
all this doesn't matter. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC right now, so it doesn't matter.
I think if the Commanders, Jalen Hurts didn't play a good football game on Sunday, but
he's the MVP.
But he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. That team is so good with or without him. He doesn't need to play spectacular all the time. He just needs to play a good game.
They're good with or without him.
Yes,
he's the MVP of the league right now.
Debatable. Very debatable. I wouldn't put him at that, but it's debatable.
Who'd you take?
I'd put Tua higher than Jalen Hurts right now.
I'm not putting him higher. But
oh no, that's
I gotta say Lamar. I got
Lamar and Pat. Lamar and Pat.
Early.
Lamar and Pat are Lamar, Pat, and Josh Allen.
No.
I put Tua over Jalen Hurts for MVP. But I would put
Tua is having a good season.
He is having a great season until he died. Until he died.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll get there. But between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and fucking Pat Mahomes,
Josh Allen, I can't because of his last two games. Like the Ravens, he did pick it back up in the second half, but how he played
and the level of competition that Philly's playing right now compared to what Josh Allen has played and and Pat Mahomes has played is a little bit different.
Yeah, Philly ain't really playing nobody.
I still think Philly is good. I still think Philly is good. I still think Philly is easily the best team in the NFC.
Yes,
but like again, their schedule doesn't show how good they actually are.
Yeah, the schedule's.
It's not a cakewalk, but it's an easy schedule. If you compare it to the AFC East schedule, like those are hard schedules.
Yeah. The
whole AFC East schedule is hard. And the Jets, this is the third straight year the Jets have a fucking stupid schedule that's like this. But the Jets, the fact that the Jets are 2-2 right now was my best case scenario if we were healthy to start the season. Which is exactly what I told you, Mike. What I said going into the season, I was like, yo, the Jets are 2-2. This is best case scenario.
Dylan won 6 games.
It was so on par for the Jets to lose their like key guys just in preseason.
It happens every year. Every year.
I had so much upside prior to the season starting.
But we're exactly where I thought we'd be.
Why.
Yeah,
Mike, we have the same record.
Unless you're a Ravens fan.
Mike, we have the same record, and you're over here saying you don't know why. And we have a better defense than you guys.
Damn, he said.
And I think we have a better ranked offense than you guys.
Dylan,
so please stop it.
Titans?
I do think the Jets are better than the Titans. Remember last time the Jets played the Titans? We beat that ass like a drum.
How many weeks?
Wait. What did we just argue? He's saying the Jets are better than the Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard that nonsense.
I do.
You heard that nonsense.
I think the Jets are better than the Titans. I also don't think the Titans are very good.
Enjoy your W over the Steelers, but we can't do that.
Josh, last time the Jets played the Titans, we beat that ass. And that was last year.
The last time.
And we had a worse team, and they had a better team.
We can't do that. We can't.
That's all I'll say.
This is what we're doing right now. Okay.
We can't do that.
Right.
If we go off of just rankings, the Titans defense that is ranked, 28 in football right now? And the Jets defense is ranked 22?
What's the Titans record right now?
2-2. It's the same record.
2-2. I
mean,
it's too early.
The fact that Mike is talking spicy to say, I don't know why they had hope, and look at us, we have the same record.
Because, Dylan, everyone in here except the Tennessee is better than the Jets. Like, I don't know why you're doing this right now.
Because you guys are the Titans aren't as good as you think.
You know we're gonna have that.
I would say. I mean, you can argue. You can make the argument the Titans are overrated or playing.
The Titans are not as good as you think they are, Mike.
But we're not going to say that
we're
going to
win our division.
Will you?
The Titans are going to.
Will you win your division?
We are actually. We actually are because we beat those
frauds. If you don't?
We beat them frauds that everybody was talking about all offseason.
Hey, Mike, let's do this.
On their field.
Hey, James, Colts, ever since I started doing this for in the NFL, it's been a real thing. What world do we live in where the Titans don't win the division? In what world do we live in when the Jaguars win the division?
Do I
Because that
sense a wager?
Jaguars team is real.
Do I
That
sense a
Jaguars
wager?
team is very real.
Yeah,
It's the wager.
That Jaguars team that just caught an L. Yeah.
That Jaguars team
team
gave
that
Philly
just
the
caught an
fight.
L.
What are you talking to the
Yeah,
best
that
team in the
Ja-
NFC? To the
Jaguars
best team in the
team just caught
NFC?
an
That
L.
Jaguars team?
I just,
Yeah, that
Anthony, I
Jaguars
just need
team.
to what's the
That
parlays
Jaguars
on
team
the
that hasn't
wager.
played anyone in the division.
That
Jaguars
Jaguars
that
team
hasn't.
who has put up a better fight versus better competition than you guys have?
We're gonna see.
I'm wondering if this is more between
I will
the
say-
Titans and Jets here, or the
I will say the Jaguars do look like the
Jets
best
and
team in the
Giants.
AFC South right now.
Because they
Right
are,
now,
Anthony.
I'm saying no. I agree. They are the
Yeah.
best team in the AFC South right now, as of this moment. They put up a very good fight
Jaguars.
against Philly.
Oh yeah,
They absolutely put a whooping on the Chargers. Like, they look like a very good team. I like what they're doing on offense. Their defense is stout. Like,
Your defense is very good.
their defense is very good. Like, and Trevor Lawrence is starting to look like the Trevor Lawrence that we all
Thought he
hyped
was
him up
gonna
to
be.
be. Yeah.
You know, Josh Allen is a top 3 rated edge rusher in football.
Yeah,
right now?
Josh Allen is fucking nice, man.
Kid's good.
Yeah.
That Jaguars team is good. That's not a team that the Titans should be taking lightly because without fucking wash Taylor Lewan at left tackle, that could be a rough
is that who
day
y'all
for
got
Ryan
this week,
Tannehill.
Mike?
No, y'all got the
No.
Commanders.
The Commanders, they're going to beat the Commanders. The Commanders.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah.
I don't call them that.
The
man.
Commanders,
I
when they
can't
get
use that
Chase
name.
Young
I just
back.
feel like I'm not talking about football anymore when I say Commanders. It's so off.
I don't
Like,
trust the Commanders until they get Chase Young back.
That's not
I
gonna do
don't-
shit.
Their defense would be
trust them
a
with them.
problem.
It'll be a lot better, but I mean, their offense.
When they actually can get
not
pressure
good.
on the quarterback, I think they're going to be a little bit better.
No, I think their offense is good. Just Dallas plays
No,
really
their
good.
offense stinks. Their
No,
offense stinks.
Dallas plays really good defense.
Carson Wentz stinks.
Why?
Carson Wentz is
He's had but hold on,
crazy.
Dylan. No,
He's washed.
Carson Wentz has realistically had one bad game this year, and that Cowboys defense is amazing.
But Carson Wentz may have had one bad game, but he just doesn't win games. Like, what are we doing here? We can't say this thing where it's like, oh man, Carson Wentz has played great. He hasn't. He's just played okay football, and that's just not how you win football games.
And it's
You
not.
can't,
don't-
you can't expect your quarterback, unless you're Philly, where you can afford to play like okay. Because that team is so good.
That team's very good, but
that
Jalen
team is
Hurts
very good.
playing
If you
great
Jalen
football
Hurts,
right
but I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts because even though he didn't play great, they still win. If you put Gardner Minshew in that game, they still play good football.
They don't, but they're not 4-0.
I'm not saying they could be. Their schedule could allow that. Because remember, that Minnesota game, Darius Slay made Kirk Cousins his fucking bitch.
So, so then when you're saying that Minshew would lead them to possibly the same 4-0 record, then you are downplaying what Jalen Hurts is doing. You're saying anyone could do that. You're saying anyone could do that.
I watched Trent
you're
Dilfer
taking credit away
lead
from
Ravens
that.
team to a fucking Super Bowl. There's a difference between somebody outperforming and just leading to wins.
Jalen Hurts
Gardner
is
Minshew could do
balling out
enough.
right now.
Gardner Minshew could do enough to still win football games.
So you're saying that Jalen Hurts isn't playing that good?
No, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts isn't
That's
playing
what it
that
sounds
good.
like you're saying.
I'm saying
That's what it
Jalen
is.
Hurts can get away with playing not great football because of the weapons and the
Has he
offensive line
played
that
great
team
football?
has. He's
But
played great
that's
football.
great
I have
football.
said he's played great football.
And his schedule too.
I have said he's played great football. Besides the
I don't-
Jags
but-
game, where he
I don't
didn't
know,
play
they sound
great,
like
he
shots
still
at my
won.
man Jay,
They still won.
because he's
That's what I'm
playing
saying.
well.
He's playing well.
He's
But
playing
again,
really well.
that team on both sides of the ball is great.
No, they're
They're
a solid
great
team
on
this year.
defense. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have one of the best wide receiving cores in football.
Mhm.
That makes playing quarterback so much easier. So it's like if Jalen Hurts were to go down, Minshew could step in and still win football games, especially with the strength of that schedule. That's what I'm saying.
What if AJ Brown goes down?
Then we could have a different conversation because AJ Brown is also balling.
He's also very injury prone.
Yeah.
But Devontae is a Bugatti, and I say that every chance I get. Devontae Smith is a fucking Bugatti. So
Yeah, he's sick, man.
That's all I'm saying. If Jalen Hurts were to go down, they have a very capable quarterback in Gardner Minshew who could lead to some wins.
But the thing about if you've been watching him play, like Hurts has been hurting him on the ground a lot himself. Like
yes, he's very good. That Jaguars game, they scored a touchdown where you ran the dude over to get in the end zone.
So like that's the thing. I'm not saying you. I don't think you get that with Minshew in there.
No, but you may get a different dynamic in Minshew when it comes to the dump off, more dump offs, and using guys' athletic ability to create the space on their own.
I think they're succeeding right now because Hurts is just a good playmaker. He's kind of
Hurts is playing well. Hurts is playing really well.
He's doing his Lamar
Hurts has
thing.
made a jump. He's made a jump.
You don't know
he's
how
made a leap right now. He's made a leap.
Hurts is playing significantly better than I thought he was going to.
He's
significantly better than I thought he was going to.
He's mean. He's been mean.
Because my knock on Hurts since college was he was fucking awful. Because he was terrible at Alabama.
But he wasn't. He wasn't.
No,
he won a national championship.
It's not hard to win national championship when you're on fucking Alabama, Mike.
What Alabama quarterback has ever done anything in the NFL?
Joe Namath.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
But here's the thing. Now they have two other Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL, one of which is also playing at an MVP level right now. So what are we going to sit here and say? Because that Alabama quarterback and Jalen Hurts got benched for Tua.
Which was a mistake. And
it wasn't a mistake.
Jalen Hurts,
it wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake benching him that night.
Looked
it was not
horrible in that game before Jalen Hurts came in there.
It was not a mistake because I watched
before
Jalen Hurts
came
in against Clemson.
You got it backwards.
The ball over OJ Howard 5 straight times.
You got it backwards. Remember, Hurts was the one struggling, and Tua came in and lit it up. That's how we found out who Tua was.
That's how we realized who Tua was.
Yeah, Tua came in and lit. He lit the world
up. When they got on the big stage in the SEC championship, what happened? Tua looked like a deer in the headlights, and Jalen Hurts came in there and saved their head.
And not with his arm. And it wasn't with his arm. It was with his fucking legs.
Playmaking ability.
It was with his legs. And that was always been my problem with Jalen Hurts, was in college, he was fucking terrible at throwing the football. I watched his whole fucking career. I watched his whole college football career. That national championship game against Clemson, he was sailing the ball over OJ Howard's heads. He was looking guys off to just run who were wide open because he knew he couldn't fucking make the throw. I watched him in the red zone throw the ball into the fucking stands when he had open receivers on the fucking slants in the end zone. I watched him lose that job to Tua. I watched him come out and beat Georgia in that SEC championship game with his fucking legs because Tua can't run like that. He came out there and ran for like 145 yards and threw the ball like 10 times.
He went nuts. He went
nuts running. And then when he went to Oklahoma and played under Lincoln Riley, I watched him shit on bad defenses because nobody plays defense in the Big 12, sail a bunch of balls there, but still throw for like 5,000 yards and almost win the Heisman. That was the best he looked. And then when you go bring him in his first year in the NFL, when he had to go sit in for fucking Carson Wentz, he didn't look great either. And then last year, he comes in and he plays football. Guess what? He also didn't look great last year. They had a soft schedule, a great offensive line, and fucking Devontae Smith was by himself. So, yes, I have every right to be skeptical of Jalen Hurts.
For a lot of wins. That's what I hear. A lot of
wins. A lot of wins.
A lot of them.
You can't give credit to him. You cannot give credit to him for those national titles when that whole defense is in the NFL. On each national championship team he played on, all of those guys are in the NFL. And he has NFL quality receivers every single chance he played in Alabama, and he refused to hit them so he could run instead. That's why I had a problem with him at quarterback. And that's why my hatred, not even hatred, my skepticism for him at quarterback is justified. Because I watched it with my eyes.
Well, I mean, you'd be skeptical because he uses his legs more, though.
No, because I watched him miss throws.
I hear. I mean, he might miss throws, but he makes up for it with his legs. He's making up for it. He's like Mike said, he's winning.
My skepticism for Jalen Hurts is a lot different than my skepticism for Lamar Jackson, because I think there's great. I've always thought if Lamar was able to sit there and just learn how to progress through his reads, he could be fucking
Lamar
dangerous.
Jackson can throw the ball because he can straight it. He's accurate as hell when he's
dangerous.
He's dangerous as hell. I don't even think it's about sitting through the reads. We don't have the line for him to sit through reads.
Well,
We
this was
can't-
me seeing
The
Lamar win a
Ravens have
Heisman
no
at
receivers.
Louisville, right? This is me
they
seeing
all
him
know
win a
they got-
Heisman at Louisville, where I saw him dominate with his legs and hit open receivers. Where
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, I did not see him hit open receivers. I saw him miss open receivers more time than not.
I felt like he came. I felt like he hit his fair share. He showed that he could play the position. I don't know.
I never said he couldn't
wasn't
play the
slinging
position,
at that-
but he wasn't slinging it like exactly.
Yeah, Tua came in slanging in that game. That was
Exactly.
I'll never forget that.
They're
I'll
different
never
types of
forget
quarterback, and my problem with Jalen Hurts was his accuracy was not really always there.
that. Yeah, he was always a slight.
And
bit off,
and
but
he
he's-
knew that his accuracy wasn't there, so that's why he would run instead of going for the open guy.
I just think he's a playmaker. I think
No,
when
he
you
has
have a
taken
guy like that,
significant steps, and he's a really
it just comes
really
down
good
if he stays
quarterback.
healthy. If he stays healthy, they'll be fine with him because he's gonna make good plays. He's not gonna make, even if he struggles throwing the ball a little bit, he's gonna make up for it. But just by
Exactly.
just making things happen.
Exactly. So I don't know. Like, I spend a lot of time watching college football because I care about the draft a lot because I'm a Jets fan. So there's not a lot of people who have watched more Jalen Hurts in college than me.
I hear you.
Because at Alabama, there was zero way I thought he was an NFL quarterback. Zero. And then he had the Heisman year at Oklahoma, where it was like, okay, that kind of put him into the NFL conversation. Because going into that year, if he was going to be in the draft, he was going to be a 7th rounder or undrafted. And that was the actual projection for him.
Which is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it would have been too low.
Ridiculous.
Because this is my thing is I just think that black quarterbacks that run get automatically like labeled as a little bit lower than guys who stand in the pocket.
Not to me, at least. Because I thought Lamar should have been the first quarterback taken off the board in that draft.
Yeah, no, easily. I mean, he should have been the
And
first play.
that's without hindsight.
And they
without
was
hindsight.
talking about him being a 3rd or 4th round project, and he should have been the first player off the board.
Should have been the first player off the board. But like
Off the board,
Jalen Hurts
period.
wasn't even as good of a quarterback as AJ McCarron was at Alabama.
But I mean, based on what though? Like my thing about that is
Accuracy.
like, but
That's not the only part of the game.
Like accuracy can be taught.
When you're a
Like,
quarterback, you
can-
need to, but that's like a very
you can
important
teach
thing as a quarterback.
accuracy. You can't teach arm strength. You can teach accuracy, and you can teach a
You
read.
can't teach instinct.
And then he has playmaking instincts. So it's like
No,
he's
and that's
teachable.
that.
All I'm
now
saying is like
great.
the NFL quarterback job, like it's not a job that you're just prepared to walk into. Like you're gonna not even the GOAT himself came into that job ready to be for that job. The best people that have been at that position were curated. Like they took a long time. Like they were built up. They got years to work under somebody who was great, probably. Aaron Rodgers is great because he sat under Brett Favre for that long. Tom Brady's great because he sat under Drew Bledsoe for that long. Like, you got to understand, like, they give, I feel like they give, more than likely, they give white guys who are mediocre, they get very decent draft rates and money out of college, and they come in and they wet the bed for a few years, and they get all these opportunities, while our guys who have all these playmaking abilities are still talked about like they should drop all the way down into the 7th round. Like Jalen Hurts was not a 7th round player. Like he just wasn't your typical stand in the pocket quarterback. Like, and that's where I think the discrepancy, like we're like, even though he's doing good and winning right now, we're still saying like, well, we still got to see because we haven't seen what he does standing in the pocket.
But here's the thing. I don't care about standing in the pocket, right? I care about what you do when you throw the football, right? I never had any doubts about Kyler Murray besides him being like a midget. Because him in Oklahoma, he was hitting every single throw possible.
Right.
Because he was just that good. And guess what? He also is fast as shit and great at creating plays. Cam Newton. I knew Cam Newton was going to be fantastic. Cam Newton also had accuracy problems, but
he had it all his whole career.
And he had it his whole career, but it's like, he figured out a way to win. But he still was able to hit. But he got to the Super Bowl and he won an MVP. That's a lot harder to do than people realize, right? So it's like
a lot of people ain't do that.
And Cam Newton in college, like I saw the accuracy issue, I was like, he'll be fine. When I saw Jalen Hurts in college having those accuracy issues, I was like, oh shit.
Okay,
that's where it's fair for me. And the same thing with Lamar. I didn't think Lamar had a problem like with his accuracy. It was just a problem. Just like, yo, can you lead your receivers now? Can you put them in different spots? Because at Louisville, that Heisman year, those guys were just fucking open. They were wide open.
They were. I mean, like a lot of it comes down to like we talked about earlier. It's like you got to have the player coach, the coordinator that understands the philosophy and like the actual personnel that like actually work together well. Like, you can't have.
Josh, is why I like Greg Roman, because he's not tied to we're going to do it this way because this is how I said.
That's exactly what Greg Roman does.
That's what he's been doing.
That's what Greg Roman does, though.
The way that the Ravens play offense now is different than when they played.
I agree.
It's much different.
And they
did
that
half,
on the fly.
I
he's
agree
not tied to it.
He's not, but he's also not.
He's predictable. I will give you, he's predictable.
He's got to put his receivers in better spots.
But his imagination is adapting to his talent.
Right. I just think his imagination is bad. Like, he has an opportunity. Like, they have enough. The Ravens have enough to be one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. They have enough talent on both sides of the ball to be that. And they won't be, because they don't know how to clock manage and play call. They just don't know how to do it. They don't do it well. They don't do it using their personnel well, and they'll always struggle unless they learn how to make adjustments at some point in the game. And that's where real talent lies. It's like, yeah, you're fine in a boxing match if you're just winning the first 6 rounds, but like those last 6, like, you know, when the guy's made an adjustment in the fight, like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's where I have a problem with him. He doesn't adjust the play calling at halftime. Simple as that. Like, when you have a lead, adjust your play calling to that lead. You have a lead, so let's make it. Let's try to hold the ball and make these drives long enough for our defense to have some time. Not HB slam 3 times straight and then again on 4.
Dylan doesn't hate black quarterbacks, by the way.
I'm not. Not at all insinuating.
By the way,
that dialogue is just usually surrounded black quarterbacks.
Dylan was pounding the table for the Jets to draft Deshaun Watson in 2017. Pounding the table. Fuck Jamal Adams. I want Deshaun Watson.
Probably shouldn't mention pounding and tables and Deshaun Watson in the same.
Hindsight being 2020, I probably shouldn't have said that, but here we go.
Well, moving right along. I mean, well, actually, before we move along, because everybody gets to talk about their teams, and I rarely talk about my team, but damn it, we were 0-2 and we're 2-2, and I'm giving my team some damn flowers. All right, went on the road in a hostile environment and got the dub. You roll your eyes all you want, James. Tighten up. We're on a roll now.
You guys would win more if you tightened up your defense.
I'm still gonna win that bet, Dylan.
You guys are ranked 28 out of 32.
15 love.
Dylan, that was the best. That was our best defensive performance. It's gonna get better.
It was crazy because you still almost gave up 400 yards.
Almost. You see how you threw that almost in there?
Mike, how many yards total did you give up?
Don't care.
Like 392.
300. It was 365.
How many
That's
points?
A lot of yards.
How many points did we give up?
Yeah, not enough to lose.
Not enough to lose, Mike. I'll give you.
And the bet is not about total yards; it's about total defense, which means your points are a factor.
Points are a factor, but yards are also a massive factor.
Okay.
And right now, you may not have given up a ton of points that game. You have given up a ton of yards this season, and points this season. And right now, you are still currently 28 out of 32.
Chipping away. That 28 sounds bad, but we're only 9 spots away from me winning.
Only
9 more spots.
That's assuming your defense plays defense.
9 away.
It's not like the Jets. Like, we may have a 22nd ranked defense, but we don't give up yards, and there's not a lot of points being scored. So Despite Ross saying we give 21 points every fucking game. Didn't happen this week. Suck it, Ross.
Yeah. But we are going to move on.
Let the cookie bake.
Off the field issues. We touched on it briefly, but no, I don't have the clip. Tua on the Dolphins.
Man. Did you guys hear that? Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to set it up. Last Sunday, we all saw him take a hit, got pushed to the ground, hit his head, got up, jogged to maybe 2 yards, stumbled again, went to the locker room. From what I saw, real time, 23 minutes, was back on the field playing. Led them to a great win. Give it to him. 4 days later, after the Dolphins allegedly say that he had a back injury, played the Bengals, got tackled, hit his head, looked like in a very similar spot, hand seized up, very scary scene. Now, out.
He's throwing gang signs. It was bad.
I kept saying it was Wu-Tang.
It's bad when you unwillingly throw up the gang signs.
It was bad. So all the drama, someone's been fired.
The thing is, he wasn't even fired because of like the test he did. He was fired because he was unwilling to like participate in the investigation, or he was being difficult during the investigation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough one. I probably have an unpopular take on it.
Go ahead.
All I can say is they have a person on the sideline that's not from Miami, or it's not from. It's supposed to be from your team. The NFL they have a doctor that's supposed to be just like a random that's there to assess players during this protocol when they go in. Now we all like you set it up, Mike. Like he took the hit, he stumbled on that Sunday, but even when he stumbled on Sunday, I couldn't tell if that was a balance thing or if that was a back thing. And this is a person, I've had back injuries before myself. I've looked like that from a back injury, like straight up. Like it was the worst pain I ever felt in my life, and I was like, yo, and I went straight to the ground. So my thing is, he kind of walked off the field even after that. So I don't. Where everybody wants to be a doctor now. We all came for that doctor's job in the first place. They're coming at the coach of Dolphins. They're coming at the league, and I just think that it's a scapegoat right now. Like I genuinely think that they're looking at the wrong thing. Like the wrong thing was, and you said it when you set it up. He played 4 days after that. The NFL and this 4-day schedule on those Thursdays for those two teams that have to participate in that is the real issue with this whole scenario. Mm-hmm. I don't see he got cleared by multiple doctors to come back and play. And not only did he come back and play, but he come back and he led his team to victory against the Ravens. I personally don't think anything was wrong with him that day like that. Now he takes this hit against the Bengals, and to me it looks like a freak football play. Like it's one of those plays that just happened. Like he made a bonehead play in the first place, in my opinion, by holding the ball too long. He's got to release that ball way before that even happens, so you don't even make yourself a target there. The second, he gets slung on his head in a way that most players don't go to the ground like that. It's just one of those kind of freak football plays, and I genuinely think that the league is wanting to turn our eyes away from looking at the fact that the Dolphins didn't get a full week's rest before this game. Neither team did. And like you had the same guy, like they talked about, like they wanted to protect Tua's protocol, but you had T.Y. Higgins on the Bengals, mind you, who was just in concussion protocol both weekends before this game on Thursday. He got cracked on the Sunday before and the Sunday before that, and was out from the Sunday before from the first hit, and came back. So I really don't sit there. I can't sit there and say that they're looking at to try to protect the players with this. I think it's personally something against Tua that they've been trying to do from the jump. I think he was put back out in that field potentially too early. Who knows? I think the only too early part was 4 days before. But if the doctors say he can play and he goes out and plays, he gets hurt. He gets hurt. But like I don't see where there was a bunch of negligence and stuff like that because I don't look at that initial hit as a head injury. I didn't personally see the head part of the first hit. I saw he was hit hard, but
I saw his head hit.
I didn't see it that way.
I see what you're saying completely. Like I understand that because if Tua doesn't get hurt in that Bengals game, nobody's saying anything.
Right? Nobody's saying nothing.
Anything.
Because look at Higgins, man. Higgins has been really jacked up.
But if Higgins got hurt again, it'd be the same situation now with over there. But you don't have that trotting out after Tua takes that nasty hit. But he did hit his head on the turf.
So
that's where it's like it's confusing to me how that's just a back injury when it's like, yo, if you're hitting your head on the turf, like I don't care if you're wearing the helmet, that shit's a bad hit.
Oh yeah, no, it hurts when players are celebrating you and they slap you in the back of the helmet. Like that hurt.
I saw today that the guy that Will Smith was acting in that concussion movie said that Tua should retire.
Yeah, I saw something like that.
And I was like, that's the worst thing that should be happening right now because Goodell hates that motherfucker. So that's the worst thing.
And that's where it leads back to me about this conspiracy against Tua thing. Like they don't want this kid to be nasty.
They don't want Tua to play in Miami.
I don't know what it is about this kid Tua. It's like they basically have booted him out of there before he got a chance to even do anything with the team. He's been set up to fail. They've had no offensive line since he got there. And they finally get the pieces around him. He gets this big year, and he actually reacts and started playing like the Tua that we all know him to be. There's no reason, like he's almost on an MVP bid. Like we were talking about it even before the podcast started. And now all of a sudden, he gets this freak injury, and you send him back out there potentially before he was ready. It just doesn't look right. The optics on that for me are off. Like something's not right with the way that they treated Tua. Like
I was always a fan of the theories that Miami hated Tua.
I really do think they do, man.
I think they do. Because I said last week, I was like, Miami's trying to get Lamar. Miami doesn't want Tua to be great.
After they beat the Ravens, every sports things talked about how bad the Ravens were and not how good Tua was. They weren't sitting there praising him. I think it was Cowherd said something about like he did it against the Ravens defense that was just like zombies that they weren't really paying any mind and stuff. I'm like, come on, man, he still did it. He's out on the field making these plays. Like, how can you take that away from him? Like, so even as a Ravens fan, I was happy for Tua because I know what he's up against as a colored quarterback. Like he's a colored quarterback, he's undersized, and he's a lefty. Like he's fighting every single wall they built to be successful, and he can move his feet a little bit. Like he's not a pocket guy for the most part. He can be. He's shown it, but you got to give him a pocket that doesn't collapse in 2.5 seconds.
The hard part about it is since he's left-handed, you have to build the line backwards.
You do. Yep. Your blind side's on the complete opposite side.
That's why it's like Miami's probably going to play. Their line is probably going to play a little bit better with Teddy next week because it's traditional quarterback.
It could definitely pay for it. And then Teddy, I think Teddy's a vet.
Teddy knows very serviceable.
Yeah, Miami. Teddy's a vet. And like one of my buddies, one of my close buddies is a Dolphins fan, and he was talking about Teddy's performance, like especially in the game he came in for Tua. And he's like, dude, like Teddy understands how to not get himself in bad situations. He'll step out, throw the ball away. He's not going to take a big sack or a big hit. He's smart about treating how he treats his body. And like that's one of the things with Tua is like he's a young kid. He's got this big heart. He's trying to prove everybody that he is the kid from Alabama that everybody knows him to be. And he's coming out trying to make too many plays. Like he's set up to fail, man. Like this kid, like he can do no right in front of their eyes. And when he finally has all the buzz going on and he's playing really well, he gets put back out in this situation that could potentially, like the doctor said, end his career. We don't know if he'll ever be the same after that. I mean, I've genuinely never seen somebody look like that after football hit. I've seen that after like UFC knockouts, but like that was a football hit and you looked like that. Like that's scary for me. And he's a tiny guy already.
I have one for you. You might remember this. I think Willis McGahee.
Oh yeah,
against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. That is the only other time I've seen somebody get
he got his belt wrong.
Him and Antonio Brown, Vontez Burfict, Antonio Brown. Yeah.
The Burfict hit on Brown was dirty.
A bad hit. That was a dirty hit.
That was how we got Antonio Brown we have today.
Hit him with the
That's how we got Antonio Brown flashing white women in pools.
Yeah. Antonio Brown is still reacting from that hit. He ain't been the same since. He really hasn't been the same. You can trace a lot of it back to that Burfict hit. You can trace a lot of it back to that hit. His head has not been right. His head has not been right. What do you guys think? Do you think that Tua? Do you think that he should have not played on that Thursday? Do you think it was negligence on their part? Like, what do you? So
I think it's negligence to it because I think that he passed the concussion test protocol there, and then it says a back injury. They put him out there. If you see that your guy hit his head like that. I heard Tomlin come out and Rex Ryan and all these guys were like, yo, if that happened to my guy, at that point, I'm treating you like you're my son. You're not going back out there. And I feel the same way. Like, as much as you want to win that football game, these guys' like health and all that stuff is a lot more important than winning that football game, despite what the fans think. So it's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't go back out there. And we should let Teddy handle this, and we'll just kneel it out and get through this game. But then you get this situation where it's like, oh, he comes out and he plays great. And it's like, oh, shit, maybe he was fine to begin with. And then the freak accident happens where you have this throw and you bang your head again. And now you're blood stacking on the field. So it's tough. It's a weird set of circumstances. It's a weird set of circumstances that's just like, yo, they're really trying to get this guy out of here.
And that's what makes me think about that a little bit. Like I've like
it's
the
like
fact
you spent
that
all this offseason trying to trade Tua for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you've been telling him he's out.
Issues, so you're like, oh, let's bring Lamar back to the crib. Let's go bring him down here.
And like super weird that the guy who checked him out is now fired and can't talk about it no more. And so it's like, did he really have
what's happening over in the NFL?
Like, you fine, man. You want some Skittles? Go back out on the field. I mean, he went back to the thing that throws us all in and makes it all weird is because, like you said, he went out and he was awesome against the Ravens.
Yeah,
it's like they knocked something into him. Like he was fine. He came out like, yeah, I got this.
Start like Rain Man. He starts seeing equations.
Seriously,
so I'm in the between because I do agree with you, Josh. I don't think he should have played Thursday. Is there a like Dylan said, like I saw he hit his head. Like I saw him fall in an awkward way because he got pushed. He fell in an awkward way, slammed his head on the turf. And like you said, even if you have a helmet on, that hurts. Like your bell gets rung. And he got up, he stumbled. Now I've never had a back issue like you're saying. So I can't speak on it. Just from what my eyes saw, I saw him hit the back of his head, get up, try to play it off like a boxer. Try to get up real quick and keep going. And then his equilibrium was off and he went right back down. Now, whether he cleared the concussion protocol right there at halftime, fine. That's fine. My question is, doesn't he have to do that again after the game? Or is it because he played good in the second half, we just ignore the fact that he hit his head?
See,
like, I don't understand that part of it.
That's what I heard is that he got tested every day since then. Like every single day he had to go through concussion tests up until he played again on Thursday just to clear the protocol.
But then my question is, I didn't see any reports heading up into Thursday of him being in concussion protocol, though.
At all. Yeah.
And the NFL is, because of gambling, is ridiculously strict with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to not be listed on the concussion protocol, my logic leads me to believe that they did not test him for that during the week, and they were just treating his back injury. And then they cleared his back injury, and he went out there, and he very well could have had a concussion.
I think they got
while
around
he was
it.
out.
Yeah.
And he could have had a concussion while he was out there. And like you said, now I'm with you, Josh. Like, that was just a freak. That just happened. That's a football. I don't want to say it's a football play, but it was.
It is a football play. That shit happened.
It happened.
It happened on every single play. Honestly,
it happened. But he should have never been in that situation. Is what my problem is. And I agree with you. These Thursday games, they're like, you can go there. I wish I had more time this week. I would have went back. If you look at the history of these Thursday night games, the injuries that happen on these Thursday night games are ridiculous. It's ridiculous because the body just does not heal like that. So these players are out there. It's a risk. He shouldn't have been out there. And now, even they're still not really saying he has a concussion now. They're saying it's a neck injury. So, like, are we trying to protect ourselves? Like, if it was a neck injury, why did the neurologist get fired? Like, what is really happening? Like, none of this makes sense. I mean, I know why he got fired.
Yeah,
somebody had to take the blame. Somebody had to catch it.
Yeah.
But like, what is happening here? Like, this is not, to me. This is
the ball is
not
dropped. They've dropped the ball terribly, and this is the one thing they care so much about is concussions. They care about concussions so much they change how you get hit in Madden.
Football's played.
They change how Madden's played because they care about concussions. They don't even put that shit in the game when it's a legitimate injury. They don't put concussions in the game. They don't allow you to get your helmet hit off anymore in Madden because of this shit. Yeah. Because they don't want to put the focus on the head. So they care about it so much, yet they have people in charge who are like, so like, we don't know what happened when Tua goes back there. Mm-hmm. If they completely ignoring the fact that he hit his head on the turf, or they're like, oh, he's like, oh, my back. So we don't even know if they even had a concussion protocol.
Exactly.
If there was anything to pass.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's weird. A good point, because they ruled out the fact that it was a back injury, so you don't go to the protocol at all.
Because if they would have said anything about head, they're like, "Oh, he's in concussion protocol immediately."
I want to confirm. I should text him right now and see if he knows for a fact, because he's one of my friends. He follows like the Miami podcast and all that stuff about the Dolphins and everything. He's a huge Dolphins fan, and he told me verbatim, like, he said that kid went through those tests every day. And I was like, I believed him, but now to hear this, like, that it wasn't even mentioned in like the news build up going into the week, because fantasy league would tell you that.
Yeah, like
going into it, they say he's under protocol, and we'll let you know if he'll be available.
And we'll let you know.
Now, my next question is, when does Tua play next?
That's a good question.
And how long does he stay out? Because I was like, yeah, I don't think Tua's playing against us.
Yeah,
and I'm like, definitely not, because that was ruled out. So now it's like, all right, when does he play again? I feel like they'd have to bring him in the week after.
Yeah, I feel like they bench him for this week, and then he's back the week after. I don't see it going too long, unless again they just don't want him to play.
What if the Dolphins like, Tua, we'll pay you your contract, just sit out until we figure out this whole concussion thing.
Yeah, because like, if
I don't think they would have told him,
and he all of a sudden had
not even like to not like, oh, let's figure out this concussion thing. Is like, hey, we're really worried about you. Let's get you tested. Let's let the league investigations go through and let you go ahead and recover. Bryan. And we'll let Teddy carry the way.
See, that's the thing is that, like, this was his year. This was his final year.
This was his year to prove himself.
This is the one. This is
problem with that.
End his career. It's going to kill it.
I agree with y'all, because I don't think the owner particularly likes Tua too much. The problem is when they beat Buffalo. and it made everybody go, "Oh, there's talent here. Like we can play." So now that greed,
it accelerated the process. They're like, "Oh,
yeah, because now we're like, "Oh, wait,
a
we might have
legitimate
a
playoff
shot."
team.
Yeah,
we can be a real playoff team, and we can be dangerous in the playoffs.
We can be the Bengals of last year. That
Yeah.
could be us. So
with the weapons that they have, that speed, it's hard to beat.
It's hard. And they're going to be a great regular season team because it's hard to game plan for that speed that Tyreek and Waddle bring.
But
it's hard
the defense
to
being as hurt as they are is going to, right now, especially with no Xavier Howard, no Byron Jones. I think they have one more injury on defense, but they don't really have a great pass rush. But Jerome Baker and Phillips are really good. So it's going to be cool to see that team, but that offense is going to carry the load for the defense until they get healthy because their defensive strength is their secondary. Those boys can play.
Yeah, no, they're animals out there in that secondary. It's going to be tough. It sucks because I feel for Miami fans right now because it's like they finally got it right. They finally figured it out.
Fuck the Dolphins.
Did they though? Because they fired their coach. They should. If Brian Flores is here, I mean,
if Brian Flores is here, you have another guaranteed 8 losses.
If Flores was there, he spends all his time hating on. He spent all his time hating on Tua, all of it.
He did. He hated Tua.
But
he would have gotten everything he wanted.
Speaking of which, what world do we live? How long before Flores is the defensive coordinator for the Steelers? Because
that Steelers defense isn't bad.
It's not, but somebody got to catch
things a lot.
Somebody got to catch the blame for it, and they don't know who to blame right now.
No, they don't.
They're ready to fire Tomlin right now. Which, by the way,
Tomlin is owed one bad season.
It screams of racism, but I don't want to go down that road.
He's owed one bad season.
The man has never had a losing record.
Bad time,
he's been a winning coach his whole career.
Right now. Bill Belichick is up there in the bed with them sorry ass Patriots now.
Exactly. Nobody's saying anything about Belichick. No one's saying
Tomlin is a Super Bowl champion. He would. Yeah,
Super Bowl champion who has never had a losing season
ever.
He's taking that.
It's not even over.
As a Ravens fan, I respect. That's the only thing about Pittsburgh I've ever respected is that dude right there. Mike Tomlin is a G. That's
the season's not even over. And they just lost their best player. If TJ Watt is playing, that's another 4 wins by himself.
That defense is next level.
They beat the Bengals because of him. Because of him.
Yep.
That's crazy. No, I don't think nobody should be getting fired or anything like that in Pittsburgh. You just gotta weather the storm, get through the season, and get yourself a good draft pick to start protecting Kenny Pickett. Because you got the weapons to do so.
Either get a line or they got to get another receiver.
That's how
their receiving core is good. The receiving core is good.
I don't know if they
say what you want about Claypool.
Is he a 1 though? He
has every
vibes.
tool to be a 1, but you have Pickens.
Vibes.
You have Pickens there, who is also a 1. So it's it doesn't even matter who's 1 and who's 2 as long as they can play football to their potential. Because they also have Deontay and Freiermuth and Najee. So it doesn't matter. Protect Kenny. Let Kenny do the rest.
Yep.
Those guys will come to form.
Well, let's we'll wrap it right there. But before we get into NBA preseason, let's move on and do our fantasy focus segment. Okay.
Right.
Don't know why my Alexa's talking to me, but whatever. We'll let it rock. We'll let it rock. We'll go to our fantasy focus where we recap fantasy for the week. Dylan, who is our fantasy focus segment brought to you by?
Mike Ortiz, Cross Country Mortgage. Bam. Yo, so Anthony beat me last week.
Yes.
I had possibly the worst fantasy week you could possibly have, where I had every player have the worst matchup possible. And it trickled down to all my fantasy leagues. I lost every league this week. because I just had terrible matchups, and there was nothing I could have done differently against Anthony to make wins appear. To make wins appear. Like Jonathan Taylor, I wish Jonathan Taylor played better.
Yeah, he got shut down by some.
I played DeAndre Swift. I was panicking, making sure I took DeAndre Swift out of every lineup except for this one. But it wouldn't even matter because if I replaced him with Travis Etienne, it's only 3 points. That wouldn't have given me the 50 points that I needed. I played Joe Burrow. He got me 20. What's his face? Russell Wilson got me 27. That's only 7. That's not the 50 that I need. Bobby Tonyan would have got me an additional 5. That would have been cool to have. But Waddle having only 5 receptions in that Thursday night game, nothing I could have did. But I thought
you couldn't have done nothing differently, bro.
Tua having 2 points was exactly what I needed to happen. But here's Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, and Mike Evans, 34, 20, 30, and then San Fran's defense with 22. So it's nothing I could have
played out of mind.
Nothing I could have done differently. Nothing I could have done differently. But with that being said, we also have somebody here who's still 0-4, and it's Mario.
Yes.
Mario's still 0-4, and he put up 128 points.
He would have beat me this week.
He would have beaten me too.
He would have beat a lot of us. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Mario would have beaten.
Yeah, it was me who took him out of.
Yeah, it was 128 would have beaten.
And I left.
You
I left
33
Josh Jacobs
points on your board.
Yeah, I was about to say. I left Josh Jacobs on the bench.
Mario would have beaten all but
I should have waxed him.
Mario would have beaten all but 2 people this week, but he ran into one of the 2.
Damn.
Mario. The thing is, I'm seeing Mario Thursday, so I will definitely be letting him know. I will definitely be letting him know.
That punishment is real. That punishment is real. I hate to do this, Dylan, but right now in the race for last place, it's Mario, you, and Anthony, which is just
my guys will figure it out. There's always that one week. There's always that 1 week in fantasy where it's just you could do nothing. You could do nothing about it. But going into this week, I'm confident with some of the matchups that I have. Where it's okay, let's take a quick look. Joe Burrow against Baltimore. Sorry, Josh, but I like Joe Burrow against Baltimore. But
I like him against us.
I may also put Russell Wilson against Indy in.
I would put Russell Wilson against Indy.
And
because Baltimore likes to play. That's the thing about us is we'll play up for the close rival games.
I am not playing Darren Waller this week because I'm getting sick and tired of Darren Waller sucking dick because Derek Carr's an asshole. So I need to.
If you want to trade him, we can talk.
Oh, I will be down to talk.
We'll do it
we can do that off screen, obviously.
I will do Dylan's favorite part of the segment since Anthony's not here to defend himself. Anthony's playoff percentage is currently at 11%, and he is now in a tie with Mario for projection to be last.
Yes, which is my favorite because again, my guy, the guys on my team, they had not very good matchups, but I'm very favorable going forward to the rest of the year. Anthony's guys, however, I can't wait to see that dumpster fire because I want every punishment we do. I want Anthony to get, except for that hot chip challenge. I wanted Mike to get so bad, so bad. Especially because I lost in the March Madness bracket in the first weekend.
Ooh.
And I still didn't finish in last place.
I can't wait for March. I can't wait for March this year. Coming back with a vengeance this year.
And Mike has to get on here with his OJ Simpson glove, eating this fucking this one chip. Oh, it was pure just gold. It was wonderful. I loved every minute of it.
Just hell. But
I went back for the hot chip challenge thing.
Oh.
Mike, your face progressively You
just
ate
saw
it.
panic.
You were good. So you were so good at the beginning of it, and then all of a sudden, I just seen that little the nostrils start flaring. It was game over.
The best was Mike coming back with a towel. Just glass off. It just looked like he took a shower because it was so hot.
Fully threw in the towel.
It felt like every pore on my face opened up.
Do you remember that freshman year, Mike, when they were running around doing the hot sauce challenge?
Yes, I do. And do you remember who didn't do it, Josh? Who didn't do it?
You.
I didn't do it because I said y'all were fucking crazy. Not doing it. Not doing it.
I wanted, man. The hot sauce challenge was classic. We got like 3 or 4 into it before, like I think it was John, Spanish John at Terraldi, I think his name was. He I think he started vomiting blood or something like that. It was bad. Somebody's stomach lining started coming up. It got so hot. It wasn't too good after that.
It was. Yeah, I never again. And I will make sure never again because I will not be finishing.
Will you? Oh yeah, because we're not going to be doing that challenge ever again.
I mean,
we can make that a perennial March Madness challenge.